to the center of the city. That's the intact temple that the Sorolans obliterated into flaky temple dandruff. The layout of the city seems to radiate around it, as if it dominated every aspect of their culture. Sounds like a good place to start. What an incredible city. Quite a difference from the aquarium we saw on our last visit. Judging from the caldera crescent shape of this island, I would gather that it was once an active volcano. If Agent 3 was right, and this really was Atlantis, then it surpassed even the most fantastic legends of its existence. The inhabitants of the city were ingenious. See the series of concentric seawalls? It looks like they built a canal and a lock system to control the water level within the city. They've drained out the crater to expose more usable land. But if they're reclaiming land, why did they keep the water level high in the center? We have a lot of ground to cover, so if you get stuck, we can always time jump to another environment. Don't fret. I'll log the precise coordinates so when you choose to return, we'll appear exactly on the spot where we left. That door might be a trap. Door. My gut instinct tells me those gears normally don't belong on the floor. I'm no engine mechanic, but where there's a gear, there's a... another gear.
Igor, pull the first lever.
I need a lever that won't drive me crazy. Another trapdoor. Looks like the only exit. Unless you want to jump out the window. I want you to watch this spiraling staircase. You're getting sleepy. Now repeat after me. Arthur is always right. I owe it all to Arthur. Gage is a chicken. I can fly. Whoa, stop, Gage! That must be the keeper of the windmill. Since you don't have any Atlantean guises in your chameleon database, it might be wise to meet him later. Let's find another way around. Okay, our mission is to find this legacy, right? Let's start making our way toward that central temple. Since the windmill keeper is down below, our exit options are limited, but I'm sure you'll come up with something. I may have an idea how to get out of here, but we need to get this windmill turning somehow. Let's check everything out in this room. Remember, where there's a wind, there's a way. While on the roof, I saw that one of the sails was missing. If we start the windmill and align the broken sail with the window in this room, you can use it to walk to that nearby wall outside. Well, it's a long shot, but you're a man of action and unbridled machismo. The gears of progress. Look at how they turn. The gears of Gage's mind. Smell them as they burn. See, a little poetry. Cute? No. Figuring out what all these gears do will be like looking for a needle in a place where you wouldn't normally find needles, like a balloon factory, or a bakery, or a cheese shop. Can I start this over? Gage, those gears look like they belong with the pegs in the floor. A few more turns, Gage. Heave! Put your back into it, laddie. I think this lever controls a clutch mechanism for the windmill. When you pull the lever, those snail-shaped wheels lift that toothed cylinder up the shaft, enmeshing it from that wooden gear on the floor. I'd say it's disengaging the sail assembly from the main drive shaft so the sails spin freely. Well, I guess you didn't get that issue of Popular Windmills. If we could apply the clutch so the broken windmill spar stopped at the window, we could walk along the broken blade, and I could shiver in terror. Keep turning, Gage. That broken windmill spar should come around soon. There's the broken windmill spar. Now that we have it aligned, we should be able to walk out onto it. I'm not fond of proposing dangerous plans, but if you turned around and pulled the lever, the clutch would disengage and the windmill would turn. Then the blade would carry us close enough to jump onto the wall. I take what I said back. I love proposing dangerous plans. Gage, once you pull the lever, jump when you are just about to pass over the wall. But first, could you sign this waiver that says this whole jumping thing was your idea? The first description of Atlantis in literature was from Plato in a series of discussions from his works Timaeus and Critias. According to Plato, Atlantis was a utopia that existed somewhere in the Western Ocean. It was never known whether Plato was actually describing the fabled lost continent or fabricating an elaborate concept to help prove an argument, as he was known to do. We shouldn't stand here for too long. From up here, we're likely to be seen. Oh, hi down there! Who, us? Just a couple of windmill repairmen doing their job. Gage, quick, show him your butt crack. Anyway, we should find a guys quickly before we really are spotted. Go on, Gage. Take a flying leap. There's not much action up here. My friends would faint if they heard me say this, but let's get down to those docks. I feel so cheap. If you can jump over to the crane, we could climb it all the way down to the docks. From our little perch, I'd say we have a couple of options. We can shimmy on down to the docks, or we can walk to the other side of this crane and climb down onto the mast of that dock ship. The writings on the sail on the back of that docked boat tell me it's Egyptian. Let's see, I think it reads, "My other ship is a barge?" Remember, don't look down. I told you not to look down. Now you better use the umbrella.
Avast, ye landlubbers. Ye face Arthur the Terrible and Blackwood the mildly terrible, but still writes his mom. Strike ye colors and prepare to be buffeted.
Don't mind me, I'm feeling particularly naughty today.
Luffy, what kind of cruise ship is this? No skipper, no Marianne, no professor? Probably no shuffleboard or holes in the hull. I'm leaving.
Look at that cloth. This ship must have been hauling silk, among other cargo.
Silk! How exquisite! Even though you're more of a summer, I think it would complement your jumpsuit perfectly. Captain's log, stardate 1262 BC. On a routine expedition, we've stumbled upon a strange Atlantean vessel with no crew. I'm hoping to rescue a naive alien mermaid shackled within the brig of this ship.
Sorry, Gage, but you can't go any further. There's a native just out of sight ahead. You're going to have to assume a chameleon guise before you can go that way. Hey, I'm always good for a gaff. What's a gaff, you ask?
According to the Book of Webster, chapter 5, verse 4, a spear or pole topped with a curved hook.
In my dictionary, it's a useful thing to have in one's inventory.
Coins for a blind beggar.
I'm fairly certain that the docked ship is of Egyptian make. What would it be doing here so far from home?
Yes? A few coins for a blind old beggar? Oh, right. Right, coins. Is there not something you wish to say?
Oh, yes, of course. Where are my manners? Thank you, friend.
No, that's not... That is to say... If you are not whom I was expecting.
I must go now.
Very well, then.
He's a cagey fellow, but I guess being locked up will do that. Still, he seems to be waiting for someone in particular.
A few coins for a blind old beggar. Thank you, friend. Looks like nasty weather.
Nasty weather? That's strange. Even a cautious weatherman would tell you that today is a parasailing day. I'm sorry, I would have to disagree.
Really? I could have sworn I felt a star moving in. Well then, in that case, I think I'll stay here and get some rest.
Those large earthenware containers strewn about the docks are called pithoi. Bronze Age Mediterranean cultures used them to hold liquids like oil and wine. When full, they would be incredibly heavy, which is why I assume they have the loading crane. And when you need a crane to unload your booze, it's time to admit you have a problem. Many huge terracotta pots like those pithoi were uncovered in the excavation of Knossos, the Minoan capital on Crete. Many of them ranged up to 9 feet tall and 6 feet in diameter. It's amazing they could turn pots that large, let alone fire them. All those handles were to distribute the weight over multiple ropes when they moved them. It almost looks like he's waiting for a passenger. Maybe the guy is some sort of ferryman. If so, he must know the lay of the land. A boat would take us pretty far in this one seahorse town. Maybe we should ask him to take us somewhere. That tower structure by the docks could be a loading crane. The ball of rocks probably acts as the counterweight to lift things. With that big of a crane, they would be able to load waiting ships with massive cargoes, or important passengers like Marlon Brando.
Oh, where can I take you?
The windmill.
That will be 10 dromoi. I am Kashani, but everyone calls me Kasha. You must be the captain of the boat they captured just this morning. I know how you feel. I am a victim too. The Atlanteans captured anyone that passes by. Now the Atlanteans have kept their city secret for over 1,000 years. Whenever a ship passes too close, they capture it and they force the crew to live here as second-class citizens. No one is allowed to leave. The rules are very strict. Okay, this is it. Hey, have a good day now.
Interesting. The beehive architecture of this windmill reflects the style used by the Mycenaeans in constructing tombs. It's quite a departure from the simple post and lintel construction they and the Minoans used for most of their architecture. Ingenious. They erected a system of these windmills, actually wind pumps, to pump water out of the island. They probably use them now to keep the water levels consistent and to replace water they lose every time they use a lock. Wind pumps are actually a very ancient technology. The Egyptians were known to have used them, and even into the 20th century, sail-powered wind pumps could be seen irrigating the plains of Crete. I hate to make aesthetic criticisms in other people's homes, but this rug looks like a beaver exploded. This looks like it should be on Shatner's head. Or it could have been on Ernest Borgnine's back. Nice flat puppy. No real animals were harmed to create this computer-generated rug. If meat is murder, then that rug is at least a severe beating. Chia floor. Gage, slowly reach for the shears. No sudden movements, it looks hungry. How many human beards had to die to make that rug? The ferocious wig creature from the planet Weave waited patiently, hungrily on the ground, biding its time for its favorite unsuspecting meal, a scrumptious time travel agent. That rug looks like a... Oh, forget this. If you can think of a funny line, please write to Presto Studios, care of everyone involved, but no one who cares. These are interesting schematics. They seem to be detailing some hidden passageway.
Looks like nasty weather.
Gage, he said it looks like nasty weather too. Unless the neighborhood calls the same psychic weather advisor, something definitely smells fishy in Atlantis. And it's not the tide. Methinks our friend doth forecast too much. It sounds like he's more interested in how we respond to his weather prediction than about the weather itself. I think he's trying to tell us something, but very subtly. The only thing I can suggest at this point is to wander about and see if any of the other locals know more about this impending nastiness. Well, if you insist.
Storms can appear from nowhere this time of year.
Well, when in Atlantis, do as the Atlanteans do, I suppose. And just for kicks, I'll add looks like nasty weather to your dialogue repertoire as a greeting. Who could we try this line out on? Maybe we could cheer up that prisoner over on the Egyptian boat. We could tell him that a nice torrential rainstorm is coming to clean the deck while he's chained to the ship. Ah, an Archimedes screw. Of course, Archimedes won't even be a glimmer in old Ma Archimedes' eye for a few hundred years or so. Whoever beat him to the punch here should have gotten a patent. That's how people get screwed in this business. Although Atlantis is often thought of as a Greek civilization, there were many anthropologists who believed that Atlantis actually was derived from the Minoan civilization. Judging by their architecture, I think their guess was right.
Ah, so where shall I take you now, huh?
The dock.
That will be 10 dromoi, please. Do not lose hope, huh? You are not alone. Many of the non-natives refuse to live as captives. They have formed an underground resistance group and are planning to escape the island. Last I heard, they were almost ready. They will probably contact you soon if they have not already. Hey, do not tell anyone what I have told you. All right, we've arrived. Thank you for your business, eh?
What now?
I think the beggar is who he's expecting. We just haven't given him proof that we're the right beggar. It seemed like he was waiting for us to say something. Or maybe he was just expecting something in return for the coins. I've heard it gets pretty lonely out at sea. Looks like nasty weather.
Yes. It may even rain. So you are my contact then? Were it not for these bonds, I would have been able to meet you as planned. But I have spoken to a member of my crew. He will be coming to free me later. Once I am released, I will seek you out.
I think I'm starting to pierce through the dark storm clouds of deceit. It looks like we've stumbled upon an arranged meeting between the captain and the beggar. They're using code words to communicate. I'll add the bit about it may even rain to your dialogue choices. If we play along with this code word game, we may be able to glean some more information. Try visiting the beggar disguised as the captain. When he tells you that the weather is looking nasty, tell him the part about the rain. I must go now.
Very well then.
A few coins for a blind old beggar. Thank you, friend. Looks like nasty weather.
There he goes again with the weather. The rain response that the captain gave us must be the next part of the code. The phrase, "it may even rain," is already among your response phrases. I'm sure that's what the beggar wants to hear. Yes, it may even rain.
Ah, good. I am glad to see that they finally let you off the ship. My name is Padros the Atlantean. Let me start by saying that I make no excuses for my people. They have no right to treat you this way. I wanted to meet with you to give you a chance to escape this prison island. There is an underground network of captives who are willing to risk their lives for a chance to return to their homelands. I have been meeting with them to organize an escape. With my knowledge of the island's inner workings, we have come up with a solid plan. We leave tomorrow, and we would like you to join us.
Why do you call this a prison island?
Yours is not the first ship to be captured by the Atlantean fleet. The people of Atlantis go to such lengths to ensure that their private utopia remains unspoiled by invaders or trade. But what makes it a utopia for native Atlanteans makes it a prison for their second-class citizens. No one is allowed to leave. You will never see your homeland or your family again. Nor will you be granted temple rights.
So, what's your plan?
Your skills were impressed upon me by a fellow countryman of yours, Amun the Egyptian. He will give you the details of the plan, and you can find him at the windmill nearest to us. When he asks about the weather, tell him it is going to be a long winter.
I don't know. It sounds pretty risky. What if we're caught?
Death will most certainly be the punishment for this crime. But even death is preferable to living as a prisoner.
I'll go now.
Ah, where to now, huh?
The windmill.
That will be 10 dromoi. You know, in Nubia, we lived on the Great Nile, and we had a saying, the river floods so that life may begin anew. Because sometimes life has a plan all its own, and there's nothing you can do. So you might as well make the best of it. Besides, life is not so bad here. Most of the people are friendly. I have a roof over my head and food on the table. The resistance offered me a chance to leave, but I decided to stay. No, this is my home now. Here it is. Take care now, huh?
Still looks like nasty weather.
Yes, it looks like it's going to be a long winter.
Ah, good. Then the beggar has convinced you to join us, Ahmed. How long has it been? 10 years? 12? It is good to see you again, old friend. Well, now you see that my ship was not lost at sea. Surely everyone must think that. But soon, I will be able to tell them the truth myself.
How did you end up here?
In the same manner as you. My ship was captured while on a trading voyage. They brought me back here and haven't allowed me to set foot on a ship since. I had no choice but to find work on the island. Me, a man of the sea, forced to take work as a windmill keeper. Oh, but none of that matters now.
Who is the beggar?
He goes by the name Padros. He is an outcast Atlantean Templar. Many years ago, while only an initiate, he was blinded and expelled from the Order simply because he expressed disagreement with their holding of the Galeth's powers. His harsh punishment was a message to other initiates who felt as he did. Do not worry that Padros is an Atlantean. He is a good man who believes in our cause.
What's the Galeth?
The Galeth is the Atlanteans' most important religious artifact. They foolishly believe it has life-giving powers. So strong is their belief that they keep it hidden from covetous eyes within the inner temple. It is always protected by a guardian Templar.
What's a Templar?
I have never forsaken our beliefs for their religious nonsense, but I do know that the Templars are to the Atlanteans as the High Priests are to us.
There were other initiates who agreed with Padros?
Yes, his best friend Saros finished Templar training and passed the rite of initiation, even though he secretly agreed with Padros. They have not spoken since.
What is the final rite of initiation?
More nonsense. They say the initiates must commune with the Galeth and ask its blessing to become a guardian Templar. Supposedly, if they are worthy, the Galeth grants them eternal life.
So, what's the escape plan?
The plan is to escape the island while everyone is celebrating the Karas Kalera. But what's more, Padros and I have uncovered a secret passage to the inner temple. Tomorrow, I will escort Padros through the passage to rescue his old friend Saros and escape with the Galeth. After, we will meet at the outer docks, board 3 ships, and sail away undetected.
There's an inner temple? Well, where is it and what's your secret passage?
The inner temple lies below the main temple at the bottom of the bay. Always seawater pours down into the inner temple, powering a clockwork device. That water drains out through a pipe that passes beneath this windmill. I've broken into the pipe, and it's large enough to crawl through.
Why is the plan set for tomorrow?
Because forever water flows through the pipe, except during the Callus Calera. They claim the stream is redirected by their Earth Mother. Something about the lifting the Galeth in a column of water. Whatever the reason, the channel runs dry for just 1 hour on that day.
What do you mean, rescue Saros?
The sword falls swiftly upon Templars who seek to abandon the Order. Even straying from the grounds is not permitted. Now we've gotten word of our plan to Guardian Templar Saros. He has agreed to allow Padros access to the Galeth in return for helping him escape the watchful eyes of his brethren.
What is the Kalos Kalire?
I do not know much about it, only that it is a rare event. I would suggest you ask the olive oil vendor. She is always willing to spread the tainted seed of their foolish beliefs.
So, what do you want of me?
We request only that you pilot one of the escape ships.
I'll speak to you later, my friend.
Please. I must go up to fix the windmill, but you are welcome to stay if you like.
The windmill keeper said that he broke into a drain pipe and found a secret passage that leads to the inner temple. Now, for it to stay secret, he must have done his digging somewhere within the windmill, probably under this room. These must be Amun's plans of how to access the secret passage. Looks like he rigged the windmill to open the passage for him. Or it's an elaborate scheme to kill the Roadrunner. With these plans, we should be able to get into that passage. All we have to do is make sure that one end of the rope is attached to the floor stone covering of the passage and the other end is attached to the windmill's shaft. When it turns, the rope should wind around the shaft and open the passage for us. This windmill is controlled by a clutch and brake system. If we disengage the brake, the windmill will turn and the power of the wind should lift that stone. I bet that's how Amun accesses the tunnel. Turn that wheel device and the windmill should start up. Look at that raging current. Too bad Dutton didn't give you the salmon jumpsuit. Well, Amun did say the water only stops on the Kalos Kalire. So if this is the only way we can get to the inner temple, we're going to have to find some way to stop the flow. We need to fiddle with the plumbing system and stop this water flow. If we could get all the Atlanteans to take a shower all at once. Hell, if any Atlantean just took a shower. Once. Didn't the windmill keeper say that the water pours into the inner temple then drains through this pipe? We're going to have to stop the water from the source. Let's go to the temple and find out where that water's draining from.
Ah, so where shall I take you now, huh?
The olive oil vendor's shop.
That will be 10 dromoi, please. You are probably wondering, where is everybody? Let me tell you, they are all at the festival. Oh, such a celebration you never did see. I call it the end of the world party. Because the way they carry on, oh boy, you would think that there will be no more tomorrow. I think it's in honor of the Earth Mother, but I don't know much about their religion. Since you're not a native Atlantean, I am sure that the olive oil vendor would be happy to tell you all about it. Okay, then now, be careful getting out of the boat.
Minoan artists were renowned in their day for their unique skill. They rejected the notion of rigid geometry in their work, creating beautiful art pieces that emphasized natural scenes. Minoan women enjoyed many privileges that were not extended in other civilizations of this time period. Adult women of Minoa were known to be endowed with wealth, title, and huge tracts of land. Normally, Gage, I would tell you not to touch anything while you're in a store, but you're older now. Go ahead, play with the machine. Yes, Mike, it's Amazing Discoveries, and this week we're showing you the amazing Play-Doh poster press. It twists, it squeezes. Order now and you can make a spinach pasta, an artichoke pasta, or how about a nice linguine terracotta? The potter has a lot of clay. You know, I don't think he'd mind if you took a lump from his load. That's Mr. Atlantean 1281 BC. Still looking good, champ. My, he has a big pot. This must be the craftsman responsible for all those monstrous pithoi around the city. Those are black olives basking in the sun. Mediterranean cultures like the Minoans were able to cultivate the rocky fields to grow olive trees, creating a lucrative olive oil trade. From the amount here, I'd say that olives were one of the chief exports of Atlantis.
Well, there's me olive oil.
Looks like it's bottle your own here. You could scoop some olive oil into a container. Those vases have some sort of imprint on the front. They could represent the contents or who they belong to. The double axe was the holiest symbol to the Minoans. Religious axes were used by priests to kill sacrificial bulls for their beloved earth goddess.
Oh, forgive me. I wasn't expecting any customers today. I just assumed everybody would be at the festival or preparing for the Kalos Kalir. It is easy to forget that not everyone on the island shares our beliefs.
So, what happens at the festival?
The festival is a 5-day celebration ending with the Kalos Kalir. It only happens twice in a lifetime, so everybody participates. There is always much food and wine, beautiful music, dancing, and entertainment of all kinds. It's really quite a party. But still, the thought that we would be better served by a more reverent observance lingers in my mind.
If you don't mind my asking, what is the Kalos Kalire?
Well, I suppose I can tell you a little bit about the Great Battle. You see, it is our belief that the Earth Mother's children await to possess her healing powers as their birthright. Tomorrow, when she reveals the source of her powers, the Galeth, they will lock together in a battle of greed that could destroy themselves and their mother altogether. This battle is called the Kalos Kalir.
Gage, ask if she might be interested in a Pisces with a rippling disembody and a very sexy voice. Oh, like you would have a chance, Gage. The Earth Mother's children?
The sun and the moon. Each is so certain that the Galeth belongs to himself alone that they jealously chase each other through the sky day and night, but they only come together once in a great many years.
Where will the Earth Mother reveal the Galeth?
In the temple, it will flow up out of the earth on a column of water, and as the water flows over the Galeth, it will become imbued with healing powers and refill the reservoir. At least, that is how the Templars have told us it happens. They're the only ones allowed to witness the miracle.
Who are the Templars?
They are the priests. Some say the Earth Mother gave them the secret of eternal life. But who would know? They almost never leave the temple. Only once have I ever seen one of them.
Does the healing water really work?
Oh, yes. But non-natives are not allowed in the temple.
How does the battle end?
If the battle ends peacefully, the Earth Mother retains the Galeth, and the people of Atlantis enjoy many more years of life and good health. If not, the Earth Mother perishes, and Atlantis along with her. But we have been here longer than anyone can remember, and we have seen many Kalos Kalirs.
Why do you celebrate the Kalos Kalire?
Oh, there are many reasons, really. But most see the Kalos Kalir as an excuse to live life to its fullest before the end comes.
Well, I should leave you to your work.
Earth Mother's blessings.
Agent 3 said this city was El Dorado, the fabled lost city of gold. The legend of El Dorado grew after the conquistadors came to Peru in 1530 to plunder the Incan Empire. Driven by rumors of a gilded city whose roads were lined with gold, New World conquerors continued to ravage the continent of South America after the genocide of the Incas. According to history, the name El Dorado was coined by Sebastian de Belalcazar in 1535. A veteran of the Inca conquest and founder of the capital of Ecuador. He met an Indian who spoke of a king that sprinkled his body with a fine gold dust before bathing in a sacred mountain lake. On hearing that, Belalcazar called the mysterious king El Dorado, the Golden Man. Today we know that man as George Hamilton. But we're not exactly blending in here, Gage. Sorry, but I don't think your gleaming smile is a sufficient disguise. Besides, a Spanish conquistador might come along and take your fillings. We need to find someone native and capture their image with the chameleon device. This is the farm plateau we visited earlier. We know that most of the fighting occurred over the temple of the Central Plateau. I think we should search there for the artifact. Judging from these fertile fields, I would say that the natives have mastered irrigation. Having seen the well system firsthand, I would guess that they're using underground aqueducts to bring water from the mountains. What's that near the well, Gage? Is that a South American mountain sloth? Be careful, they're rapid nappers. See those markings that carve across the mountains in the distance? Those remind me of the lines left behind by the Nazca Indians of Peru. In the arid plains nestled between Peru's Pacific coast and the Andean foothills, the Nazca left behind hundreds of mysterious intersecting lines that sprawled for miles over the landscape. The mystery of the Nazca lines was never solved. From the ground, the markings were too vast to be recognizable, but when viewed from the air, the lines form a baffling web of animal forms. Spiders, birds, and dozens of seemingly random geometric patterns. Some extreme theories claim that the lines were runways for alien ships, while other authorities suggested that the Nazca had created a remarkable astronomical calendar. A group of 20th century scientists attempted to prove that the Nazca lines were too precise to have been created without aerial views. They believed the Nazca used simple flying devices, and to prove this, the scientists succeeded in creating a balloon made from only natural resources. It appears that the El Dorado people have actually mastered ballooning. They may have shared the technology with the Nazca before their untimely demise. Those balloons rise along the rope rails to the other plateau. It actually looks very safe, but before we go, let me tell you a sad tale about a little balloon called the Hindenburg. Greedy explorers continued searching for El Dorado right up to the end of the 18th century, cutting a bloody trail of atrocities through South America. However, none would find the lost city. Disease, dissension, native resistance, and malnutrition would eventually decimate even the most well-prepared expeditions. Gage, hold my purse. I'm going to take a picture. This wall reminds me of brilliant Incan stonework. Incan masons constructed their walls with irregularly shaped bricks that had no pattern, but managed to create incredibly stable structures, packed so tightly, in fact, that you couldn't insert a sharp knife between the stones. The Incans could have learned that technique from the masons of El Dorado. It seems that El Dorado might have influenced other South American cultures before its demise. It's possible that the Incas learned their brilliant irregular stone masonry from the artisans of El Dorado. Also, knowledge of drawing the lines with the balloons might have been shared with the Nazca. If so, it's fortunate that the elements of this incredible society were preserved. The pictograms on this mural speak of the conclusion of the great story. Many generations after the first shaman secured the totem in a secret place, the spirits of the pictograms surrounding the mural speak of the great story and the first shaman. He was instructed by the spirits of time and space to hide one of the 3 totems of tremendous power from the fury of their powerful children, 2 winged brothers. To aid him with this task, he called upon the power of the element spirits. They showed him a secret place for the totem. Once the totem was hidden, the shaman bade the spirits to guard it, and they have ever since. After roughly translating the inscriptions, I believe that this mural is somehow depicting the path the first shaman took to hide the totem. I have a sneaking suspicion that the totem is the artifact that we're looking for, so we might want to learn all we can about this great story. In the center of the mural, the shaman boards a balloon and flies over the totem's resting place. In the next section, he hides the totem in the mouth of a coatl serpent surrounded by the elements. Sounds like we need to retrace the first shaman's path to find the totem's location. I would say the first step would be to hitch a ride on one of those high-flying balloons. The pictograms on this mural speak of the conclusion of the great story. Many generations after the first shaman secured the totem in a secret place, the spirits of time and space would beseech a young warrior to save the totem from the brothers, return to claim the totem. However, the warrior would have to overcome the element guardians protecting the totem. The rest of the mural is unfinished, Gage. I assume that's what the scribe is working on now. It appears that the young warrior followed the first shaman's trail to find the totem. Like the shaman, the young warrior flew into the air with a balloon. There's something else I just noticed. The hiding place of the totem is submerged in water, whereas in the other mural, the hiding place is surrounded by fire. That yellow sheet is gold leaf. Many ancient cultures discovered that gold was a very malleable metal. It could be pounded into very fine sheets that could be quickly and easily applied to almost anything to make it look golden.